Welcome to the Stan Show 2.0. I'm Stan Arthur, and I'm sitting in the middle of our brand new recording facility called Mountain View Recording. You might ask, why did you call it Mountain View Recording? Well, here's the view out the window, and it's quite inspiring. Great place to have a studio for podcasting and for music recording, and we are gonna rock and roll here for as long as I'm drawing breath, because I have dreamed of a facility like this for a long time, and now we finally have it. So what are we going to do today? Well, let's see. Chuck Berry, rock and roll American icon. You know, this guy, some call him the king of rock and roll. Some say that he was the first one to take the shuffle beat, the tinky-chaka, 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 tinky-cha, and change it into a straight 4-beat, tinky-chaka, tinky-chaka, tinky-cha. So when he recorded Johnny B. Goode, I know that in their sessions, when they were recording it, they were playing a shuffle beat, and then they switched it up to this straight 4. And that supposedly was the creation of rock and roll. Well, I don't know about that, but the only reason I'm here today is because I have a Chuck Berry story that I want to lay on you today. I think it was 1992. A very dear old friend of mine who I knew from the 70s walked into the music store where I was working, big old movie theater that had been converted into a music superstore called Paragon Music in Pinellas Park, Florida. He walked in and I'm like, Randy, how have you been? Haven't seen you in so long. And we got into a conversation, and turned out that he was promoting a big show at the Bayfront Center Arena. Don't look for it. It's gone now. It was torn down. It's where the Salvador Dali Museum is now in St. Petersburg. And he said he was going to promote a show there in the arena called The Legends of Rock and Roll, and that he had got Dion, Little Richard, Fats Domino, Jerry Lee Lewis, and Chuck Berry to be in that one show. And I said, that's great. That's awesome. Why are you telling me? He said, well, because I want you to be the stage manager for this show. So I couldn't turn that down. It sounded like a lot of fun. The day of the show finally came, and I had to be there early for all the bands coming in and setting up and doing their sound checks. As the stage manager, I had to, oversee all of that. Well, all of that went very well. Dion lived locally. He lived in Clearwater, so he was just, hop, skip, and a jump. And he had some friends who were his backup band, and it was great. Did a sound check. Everything went well. Every other sound check, Little Richard went fine. But then we discovered that Fats Domino was not going to make it. And we later found out that Fats Domino hadn't played a show in about 15 years at that time. So no Fats Domino. And then we found out, Jerry Lee Lewis isn't going to make it. Not sure why. Maybe the money wasn't enough or whatever. He sent a telegram that he wanted us to read at the show saying, stuck at the airport, bad weather, can't get off the runway. It was all bullshit. So that left us with Dion, Little Richard, and Chuck Berry. Now, something a lot of people don't know about Chuck Berry is he never travels with a band. He picks up a local band to play his set, and he fronts it with his guitar and his singing. Well, the band that was chosen to play for Chuck Berry was a band called The Impacts. A band that has been around St. Petersburg, Florida since 1960. The Impacts did a great job. They showed up on time. They got set up. The person who was providing the backline for the show, Mr. Paul Holmes, and his company called Keyboard Specialties. And he had to provide amplifiers, guitar amplifiers for Chuck Berry. Chuck Berry in his contract required 2 matching Fender amplifiers from the same year, 1962. And they were set up and ready to go. Chuck Berry came out, and instead of just doing a brief sound check, they played through his entire set because the band had never played with Chuck Berry before. So they did that. It went very, very well. Chuck Berry went up to his dressing room. Everybody was chilling out. The doors opened. The place started filling up. Didn't sell out, unfortunately. I think Randy was going to lose money on this show. A while went by and Randy approached me and said, listen, we found out that one of those amplifiers for Chuck Berry is the wrong year. It's a 1963. And in his contract, he said if he doesn't have two exact same amplifiers from the same year, he gets a $1,500 cash bonus before he'll come out on stage. I'm like, wow, what are you going to do? He said, I don't know. I got to go raise $1,500 and give it to him before he'll come out on stage. Meanwhile, and he points down to a flatbed pull cart that had a big cooler on it. He said, you need to go back to the back of the venue. There's an elevator back there. Take it up to the 3rd floor, and you need to go to room 322, and that is Chuck Berry's dressing room, and just take it up there, knock on the door, and bring it in for him. This is his refreshment for the gig. Okay, so I took the big pull cart with the big cooler on it, rolled it back to the elevator, took it up to the 3rd floor, and the doors open. There was a long hallway, doors on the left side. So I rolled that thing down there. I found 322, and I knocked on the door. Bam, 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 bam. Big metal door, big wide door. Nothing, no answer. We'll wait about a minute. Bam, 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 bam. And the door swings open. Whoosh. And there's Chuck Berry. And he was wearing what a lot of us would refer to as a banana hammock, bright blue. And there he was in all his glory. And I'm just like, He goes, hey, man. I said, I brought this for you from Randy. These are your refreshments. Well, come on in, he said. And I'm looking past him, and it's kind of a hallway and restroom on the right and the hallway down there. And it goes into the dressing room with all the mirrors on the walls, with all the lights around the mirrors, and it's all on in there. And I look in there, and there's a woman in there. She's standing there by the counter of the dressing room, and she's looking like she's probably about 55, maybe, I don't know, 60. She's obviously got on a wig and spandex pants and low-cut top. And she's like this back there reading something. And I'm looking at Chuck Berry in his banana hammock and this woman back there. And I said, no thanks. And I dropped the handle to the thing and I ran back to the elevator. And I went back down to the main floor. And the show went great. Everybody played well. It lasted for about 3 hours. Everybody got their money's worth. And I believe Randy lost his butt on that show. But I haven't seen Randy since then. It was 1992 or so. But that's it. That's my Chuck Berry story. And I hope you enjoyed it. I'll be back soon with another episode of Old Guy Story Time. I think you're really going to like this next one. I'll see you all next time.